Woof.
Okay, here we go. So, this is the first of 3 new dev blogs. This was actually came out yesterday evening on the 15th. I'm covering it here on Thursday night stream on the 16th. I have not read anything, so I don't even know what's in any of these. I haven't even looked at the headlines. Usually I'll see the headlines when I bring them up, but all I saw was new ships, changes to test ships, and new dockyard, new map. So that's all I've seen. So this is totally cold. First reaction, off the cuff, probably full of mistakes or misconceptions, but that's what a first reaction is. So, but the first one from yesterday is new ships, closed test 12.3, American Battleship West Virginia 44, American destroyer Halford, and European destroyer Jager. We have the Jager bomb or the Jägermeister. This is interesting. West Virginia 44 has been on the has been just off of the radar for quite some time now, and it looks like now we're going to get it. It will be interesting to see, since this is a Tier 7, what this looks like, because I love my Tier 6 West Virginia. So it will be interesting to see what the 44 looks like. All I got to say is, if you're going to bump it up to Tier 7, I hope you got some little better armor and survivability, because the West Virginia is great, and the guns are great even when you're going up against Tier 8s. But the guns aren't, I mean, the body of the ship doesn't hold up so well when you're having to fight Tier 8 battleships and Tier 8 cruisers. So, something to keep in mind. So let's just hope it's got a little more survivability so it can withstand a constant barrage of Tier 8 and 9 battleships. But let's see. So West Virginia BB-48, third and final Colorado class battleship. We know some of this. Laid down in April 1920, launched in 1921 in November, commissioned in December 23. Spent the interwar period conducting exercises and training voyages. Had to go an upgrade before World War II, which include the installation of a torpedo bulge, strengthening of deck armor and air defenses, replacement of boilers, fire control systems. But in the end, the modernization was postponed to 1942. However, the ship would never go through the scheduled modernization because on December 7th, 1941, it received 7 torpedo and 2 bomb hits in Pearl Harbor. Sank on an even keel, and in May 1942, it was raised, hastily patched up in Hawaii, and towed to Puget Sound, Washington, underwent a radical upgrade. Installation of torpedo bulge, reinforcement armored deck. It received completely new superstructure, new dual-purpose gun battery, radar, radar. Okay, yet another ship with radar. I see this coming. And other improvements. In the autumn of 44, it was returned to the Pacific Ocean just in time for the start of the Battle of Leyte Gulf. And it scored, West Virginia scored several gunnery hits on Japanese battleship Yamashiro and cruiser Mogami. February to March 1945, participated in battles of Iwo Jima and landings on Okinawa, and received 5 battle stars by the end of the war. Put into reserve in January of 47 and sold for scrap in 59. It's equipped with a powerful secondary battery with long range. This is the West Virginia 44. So now we're going to see what the version of World of Warships is like. So it's equipped with a powerful secondary battery with long range. So is this going to be a Tier 7? Is this going to be a Tier 7 secondary ship? We'll see. Good accuracy and fast reload, and has well-protected citadel due to wide and thick torp bulges. This allows the ship to fight effectively at short to medium distances. Main battery is represented by 8 short-range 406mm guns and 4 turrets. AP shells have high damage and armor pen, and HE shells are standard for the ship type and tier. West Virginia 44 has a short turning radius, and when you look, yes, she looks like a small ship, very much like Colorado class. So good turning radius, but This is what I was afraid of: low speed and high detectability. Not a good combination for, particularly for a brawling ship. The high detectability is kind of normal, but the low speed's not good. An improved American repair party and fighter or spotting aircraft. Okay. So, maybe, maybe, just maybe, this thing's going to be a little bit like Atlantico in some means, but it's going to actually have decent guns. Because I constantly gripe about how useless the Atlantico's main battery guns are. But let's look at the ship parameters and see. Hit points 59,100. Torque protection 37%. Not bad at tier 7. So let's look. 17.5 kilometer range on the guns. Not the end of the world. It's not long range though, but not the end of the world. 36% fire chance. I think that's standard American HE. 12.4 on the AP shell damage. 30-second reload. So okay. Turn time 45 seconds. Not ideal for a secondary ship if that's what it is. You got 1.7 Sigma. Okay. Let's see. Airstrike, not worried about. Secondary armament, 8x2. So there's only 8 of these twin turrets instead of 10 like you have on the Massachusetts. So this is 80% of a Massachusetts, and a 6.3 kilometer range. How does that stack up? Let me pull up my ship filter really quickly. Look at tier 7 secondary ranges. So that's the same secondary range as your French and German ships. Same as Strasbourg, Lyon, Scharnhorst, Prinz Heinrich, and Gneisenau. So I'm not sure 100% what that gets you out to. I want to say it's, if you fully build into the secondaries, it's around a little over 9 kilometers or something. Somebody else might know and can pop that out there in chat. Hey, thanks White Coat for the Prime sub. Much appreciated. So that's pretty cool. You got your AA. AA is a myth, so we won't go over that in too much detail. You get 5 explosions though. Looks like a decent amount of AA, for the tier. We'll see how that stacks up later on. But maximum speed, 21 knots. Ugh. This is tier 7. You couldn't give us like 24, 25, maybe? I understand that you're still in that Colorado area. This is more of a dreadnought than it is a fast battleship. You were not up to the North Carolinas and the ships like that. But good Lord, you think you could give us a little something. Just a little bit, throw us a little bit of a bone there. But a decent enough rudder shift and turning radius. Concealment not so great. You get a damage control. All right, so your repair party is 28 second. 390. I don't know why there's a 0.06 here. 0.06 hit points per second. Okay, whatever. Let me look and see real quick. What would a typical, if I look up another American battleship, like, well, let's just look up the Colorado. Colorado would be the one to check. So your Colorado has a 28 second. Well, it says 18.5% healed, so I don't really know what that means. 28 second, 18.5 second, or 18.5% healed. I don't know how much that compares to this. So in any case, this is supposed to be an improved. It has an 80-second reload time. Again, compared to the Colorado, that's the same cooldown, 4 charges, same So it looks really similar there. It may be the same hill as the Colorado. I'm not 100% sure. That's hard to say. Definitely hard to say. As far as hit points, it's very similar to the Colorado. So, well, it'll be interesting to see how this plays. But you know what's interesting? I'm surprised. I saw radar mentioned in the description of the ship, but they did not give this ship radar. So this is not a down-tiered constellation, which is good. But we'll see. I really love my Tier 6 West Virginia, so I'm interested in getting a hold of this ship and trying it and seeing how it works. Now, American Destroyer Halford, Tier 9. This is interesting. I only see four single turrets, it looks like. So that's going to be interesting. So 6 destroyers of the Fletcher class were planned to receive an aircraft catapult. Oh boy, I see where this was going. Instead of a stern torpedo. This is going to be a Lo Yang at Tier 9 with an aircraft attack. Like a trompe. This is going to be an American trompe with maybe lesser guns. We'll see. So let's see. In this configuration, they could launch Kingfisher reconnaissance aircraft and formations consisting of only destroyers without having to rely on cruisers and aircraft carriers would receive their own eyes. However, later on, the planned number of aircraft carrying Fletchers was reduced to 3. Halford was laid down in Puget Sound in 41, launched in October 42, commissioned in 43. And then on October 27th, received her catapult, began Operations Pacific Theater. Took part in amphibious operations in Solomon Island, New Guinea, and the Philippines. Fought at the Battle of the Philippine Sea and Leyte Gulf. Same year, the catapult was dismantled. It must not have worked real good, huh? It was put into reserve in January 46, decommissioned in 68, after which she was scrapped. During World War II, the ship received 13 battle stars. Nice. Halford is the first hybrid destroyer in our game. Uh-oh. So this is not going to be like Tromp, which just has a this is going to be an actual hybrid DD. Okay. Armed with an attack aircraft tactical squadron. So we're going to get rocket planes. Due to the small size of the ship, the principle of launching a squadron will differ from other hybrids. Only one aircraft will be launched, which will be joined by the rest of the squadron, which is already in the air. Okay. All right. Whatever you say. So I guess you're going to say, well, we're going to call in an airstrike, but then we're going to launch our one aircraft, and then they're going to team up and go together after something. Okay. That makes perfect sense. The aircraft are armed with powerful Tiny Tim rockets, high damage, and armor pen. Yeah, but aren't those things notoriously inaccurate? And how long is the delay going to be on firing the things? We'll see. Halford is equipped with 4 127mm main guns with good rate of fire and arcing shell ballistics, as well as 1 5-tube torpedo launcher. So again, they take away a torpedo tube to give you, I'd rather have the other torpedo tube, but to give you some rocket planes. Long-range torps. Now, what's long range? Is that going to be 10.5 kilometer range of the Tier 9 typical DDs, or who knows? In addition, the ship has high maneuverability. Among her shortcomings, small amount of HP, absence of a smoke generator. So just engine boost, defensive AA. Oh, and you have to choose? So all you have is engine boost or defensive AA in one slot. Wow. Okay. Let's look at the parameters of this bad boy. So hit point 17,100. How does that compare to like how does that compare to other, let's see, this is Tier 9, right? How does that compare to the Fletcher? So that's the same amount of hit points as a Fletcher or a Black. Okay. 4x1, 3.3 seconds. So the guns are going to be the same as you get on Venom, basically, if I understand this. 10.2 range, which is... what else do we have? Depth charges, don't care. AA defense, again, a myth, don't care. You do get 3 explosions, that's at least something. So 38 knots, which is not a bad speed. That's decent. 630 turning, 3.9 rudder shift, so decently maneuverable. Damage control in slot 1 and either engine boost or defensive fire, AA fire in slot 2. Wow. So let's see what you end up with in an attacking squad here. That is just so weird that you launch one plane, but then it joins up with the rest of the squadron. Come on. I mean, why not just, if you're going to go outside of the realms of physics and outside of the, you know, the realms of logic, just have a DD launch a whole squadron of planes. Why not? Why not? Oh my gosh. But look at this speed. 176 to 216 knots. Good lordy. So 4 planes, 120-second restoration. 2 rockets and a payload. So you're going to get 8 rockets if all planes make it to the destination. 68 millimeters of armor pen. That's pretty damned good. 5,400 damage. So, you know, 8 of those bad boys, that's a pretty good amount of damage. That's well over 40,000 potential damage if they hit. And a 33% fire range. Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about this one because, boy, okay. Yeah. So we now have a true hybrid DD. Oh dear, oh dear. All right. Tier 9 European DD, the Jagermeister, the Jager here. You know, this has this high freeboard front end. It looks a lot like a Leon, doesn't it? Doesn't this look a lot like a Leon? We'll look at something. I'm going to pull this over. Hang on here. We haven't even got our game client started up yet. Wait a minute. Wrong one. This is a pain in the rear end. Here we go. I don't know why it didn't pull over what I tried to pull over. Let's go ahead and get the game started. But yeah, that thing looks a lot like a Leon. But does this not look like a gigantic damn gun on the front of this thing? I can't tell what's on the back. I see what could be AA guns or a real gun. I see 2 or 3 torpedo racks. Very weird. Let's look and see what this says. So this is Tier 9. Before the First World War, Austro-Hungarian fleet had several 850-ton Tatra-class destroyers, in addition to which 4 similar ships were built. Completely insufficient to face the Entente's overwhelming fleets, and the ships were outdated in design, so work began in 1917 on the project of a destroyer leader. That usually means big and not very maneuverable, and yeah. In total, 8 leaders and 12 destroyers were planned for construction. The German company Blom und Voss and Hungarian company Gens Danubis presented their sketches. Several of their projects were developed by the Marine Technical Committee. One of them was the design of a 2,000-ton torpedo Fahrzeug torpedo ship. It was to be armed with 6-inch main battery guns. She never appeared in reality. However, we implemented her in our game. Well, at least they're being honest. So they're saying this is not reality. It's just maybe a design that may have been on paper. So we're going to implement it. We also reflected one of the peculiarities of the Austro-Hungarian destroyer's camouflage on the ship's standard permanent camo. In the autumn of 1915, the order was issued to change the black paint of the ships to a bluish gray, but so as to make the destroyers less noticeable against the backdrop of the coast. The new layer of paint was only to be partially applied in order to preserve some black spots, thereby creating a kind of impromptu camouflage. Okay, that's an interesting thing. Jager is a stealthy torpedo destroyer, low visibility, armed with four triple torpedo launchers. Well, I said I thought I saw at least three, but yeah, I see it now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 triple launchers. But how many guns? I only see literally one gun, unless that's actual guns in the back, and I see 2. With the trademark European launch spreads, narrow and ultra narrow. The torps themselves are characterized by high speed and range, as well as fast reload but low damage. So this is it's going to get typical European torpedo style, but you're going to get 4 triple launchers. So you're going to get 12 torpedoes to fling out there. That's interesting. The main battery is represented by 3, so it does have 350 millimeter guns with short firing range and not the highest rate of fire. Okay. Jager has a small amount of hit points and weak anti-aircraft, which does not go along with other European designs. And available, but it's got a repair party and an engine boost. So here's a ship naming reason. They're talking about the dual monarchy of the early 20th century Austria-Hungary shipbuilding, where the Imperial and Royal Navy divided in German-Hungarian parts. They were named after geographical objects of the empire. Tatra, a mountain range on the Slovakian-Polish border. So, well then what's Jager named after? A drink? Alcohol? The ship was named after the famous Tyrolean rifleman of the Imperial and Royal Army, Jager. Okay. Not familiar with Mr. Jager. But let's look at the ship parameters on this bad boy. Okay, hit points 15,900. That's pretty low. That's down there. That's well below like what a Fletcher would be, but it's above the Benham. So it's at least got more hit points than Benham. 3 150s with a 9.5 kilometer range. Ouch. Pretty decent damage. Awesome fire chance. Good lordy. Reload is 5.5 seconds. That's not the worst in the world. It's not great, but it's not the worst in the world. Great dispersion. Depth charges. Whatever. What else? Okay, torpedoes. 4x3. 10,700. Range 13.5. Speed 86. Let's compare this to the European, like the Ostergotland. So Ostergotland has 13.5 kilometer, 10,700 torps. Yep. What else? 86 knots. Yep, same speed. 1.8 detectability. Yep, same thing. Looks like these are Ostergotland torps, but you get 4x3 rather than 2x4 like you do on the Oster. So basically you're getting 12 torps instead of 8. So okay. Nice. Where is the oh, here it is. Reload 70 seconds. Is that the same? Here is the reload on 100 seconds on the Oster. So the reload on these things is 70 seconds. And if you build all the way into torps, you're going to get that like low, like way under 60 seconds. Yeah, you're going to get that pretty far under, because let's go into here and look at my tier 9 DDs real quick. Here we go, tier 9 DDs. And let's look at well, let's just look at the Oster real quick. Because if you build fully into this, right here, you get 15% reload time reduction. If you build into that and you build it into the captain, you get another 10%. So that's 70 seconds. Wow, let's look at that real quick. It's going to be somewhere around 54 seconds or just under. That's going to be crazy as far as a torp reload's concerned. Wow. Okay, let's see what kind of concealment do you get in this thing. 6.7 kilometers. How does that compare to Oster? I think the Ostergotland, when it's fully tricked out, I believe it's 6 kilometers, maybe 6.1 on concealment. So Oster has, where is the concealment? Oster has 7.4. This thing has 6.7 kilometers? Wait a second. That's more stealthy than a Yugumo. Yugumo has 6.8 base. So this thing is 100 meters. So this thing is going to be like a 5.4, 5.3 concealment, something like that. Holy crap. Let me make sure I'm getting that right. Yeah, you're talking about 5.4. Because I think Yugumo's 5.5 fully outfitted. Yeah, that's going to be pretty ridiculous right there. And you've got a 37 knot speed, which isn't the worst in the world. It's not like lightning fast, but I'm pretty sure that is going to be a bit faster than the Oster, if I'm not mistaken. How fast is the Oster? 35 knots. So this is 37. So you're faster than the Oster. You do get an engine boost, an 8% engine boost. You do get a repair party. Okay. Wow. You don't get smoke though. So, but seriously, that's pretty impressive. That is pretty darn impressive. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be, talk about death by 1,000 needles. That thing will be popping some torps out there. And when you put the special captain on there, that gives you a bonus after you get, like, was it 8 torp hits? Your reload goes down even more. So now you're probably sub 50 seconds. That's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy. Okay. Yeah. So this is basically going to be like a tier 9 kamikaze. Except you're not going to be dev striking stuff. Even with 12 of the torpedoes, you might not be able, you probably can't dev strike a battleship even with all 12 torpedoes. But still, this is going to be ridiculous. All right. That was a lot for 3 ships, but that was absolutely crazy. So that's it for the new ships. So recap, tier 9 European Jager, which has 350 millimeter guns, but it has 4x3 torps that are Ostergotland torps with long range fast speed, and a ridiculous reload on them. And it also has, it's going to be the most stealthy Tier 9 DD. That's crazy. Then you have the Halford, oh boy, which is going to be basically like taking a Fletcher and removing a gun and a torp tube and adding a attack plane squadron onto it. I'm not at all in favor of that. And then West Virginia 44, which hard to say. It may be good, it may be mediocre, but I don't think it's going to be too horrible. So great. That's that dev blog from March 15th. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see notifications of future videos, just ring the bell. Until next time, Tater Dawg says, woof.